Clark gets it. She's got time. Cloud defending. Clark trying to create some airspace. Long three at the horn. Oh!
The Phenom stared back, her eyes questioning if everyone had suddenly developed amnesia regarding her lethal skill set. That singular moment served as the ultimate catalyst for a long overdue confrontation.
Need to talk.
It's special. I mean, there's very few people who get the opportunity to say that they have a logo and to...
The conversation transcended the typical hierarchy of the court, evolving into a raw dialogue between two competitors obsessed with a singular objective: victory. Before the footage begins to roll, a fundamental truth must be established. Caitlin Clark stands as a once-in-a-century prodigy, an undisputed master of the hardwood. She isn't an asset to be managed or restricted. Instead, she is a relentless force of nature that demands total freedom to roam. Had Clark spoken her mind, she would have reminded Stephanie White that her presence is the sole reason the world's cameras are focused on this franchise. The shift in the atmosphere is undeniable, a fact the coach surely recognizes but has yet to fully embrace through her tactical decisions. Total faith was required. Even as Atkins hovered closely and attempted to disrupt the play with a desperate jab at the ball, the tension remained high. Clark ignored the pressure, launching a strike that found nothing but the bottom of the net. She never intended to be a mere cog in a restrictive machine. Her arrival was meant to redefine basketball itself, a cold reality rather than simple bravado. The explosion in viewership and the sea of sold-out jerseys can be traced back to her name alone. She is the magnet pulling the crowds. The financial landscape of the sport is shifting because of her, paving the way for massive salary increases across the entire roster. The leverage for better contracts and the intense public scrutiny are direct consequences of her superstar gravity, a fact no one can ignore. Her true lethality emerges when she plays on pure instinct, moving with a velocity that allows her to dismantle opponents without a moment's hesitation. It was that classic, long-range heave that has become her trademark. She let it fly, and the crowd erupted as it hit home. The desire for order and tactical rigidity is understandable from a coaching perspective, yet it often clashes with her raw genius. There is a thin line between strategic discipline and unnecessary restraint, and she began to feel the weight of the latter. Micromanagement and restricted shot selection strip away her identity, erasing the very version of the athlete that the world fell in love with. That stifled version is not the pioneer who fundamentally altered the league's trajectory the second she first donned the uniform. Her vision allowed her to terrorize defenses from every inch of the wood, punctuated by a smooth, mid-range jumper that touched nothing but lace. The coach needed to keep one crucial detail in mind. Memories of their past encounters remained vivid, specifically when White stood on the opposing sideline, desperately trying to contain the very storm she now directed. The tension of a dying clock and a razor-thin margin returned, picturing Clark pulling up from an impossible distance. The sound of the horn followed by the swish of the net was a nightmare White once had to solve, a testament to Clark's inherent nature. She is a pure hooper, a cold-blooded finisher who thrives when the pressure is at its absolute peak. It would be a mistake to suppress that killer instinct now that they are finally wearing the same colors. Despite a bloody collision with Sheldon that cost her a piece of a tooth, Clark remained undeterred, sinking yet another shot through the pain. The performance against the Liberty served as a definitive statement, showcasing her true essence rather than just a streak of luck. That brilliance was the direct result of having the keys to the offense and the full confidence of the staff. By weaponizing pace and launching from the logo, she dismantled the opposition's schemes before they could even find their footing. The defense was helpless as she buried another jumper from a distance most wouldn't even dream of attempting. It wasn't a fluke. It was her standard operating procedure, the exact formula needed for the team to achieve greatness. That unbridled play style is the only path leading toward a championship trophy. After orchestrating the floor and hitting a step-back three, it became time to address the unspoken dynamics regarding Kelsey Mitchell's role. While Mitchell is a respected veteran who has paid her dues, the harsh reality is that the postseason was a distant dream prior to Clark's arrival. The new culture of high stakes and genuine hope wasn't an accident. It was a shift she personally engineered. Her debut season was a record-shattering campaign, and even the controversial snub from the national team couldn't break her spirit. She simply used the disrespect as fuel to elevate her performance to an even higher level. As a premier icon of the sport, she has propelled the entire league into a new era of unprecedented commercial growth and cultural relevance. The situation had evolved far beyond a simple disagreement between two individuals. The audience is acutely aware of the friction, and their frustration is beginning to boil over. There is a growing sentiment that the coaching staff is stifling her natural rhythm, attempting to force a square peg into a round hole. Ignoring the unique magic that brought the crowds to the arena would be a catastrophic error for the franchise's future. She insisted her playing style was non-negotiable, warning that restricting her natural talent would turn a simple basketball game into a major battle of principles far beyond the sport. A pivotal choice loomed. Either she flourished as her authentic self, or the entire partnership would simply shatter under the weight of control. These weren't empty words. She recognized her own massive value as a leader who dominated at the highest levels of the professional sporting world. Forged for high-stakes pressure, she was the definitive cornerstone upon which whole championships and winning legacies are constructed by professional team management. If her game remained suppressed here, she would weigh her future options once the free agency period finally arrived on the professional basketball horizon. That decision would mean leaving, as she refused to be controlled while chasing ultimate victory and professional excellence on the hardwood floor. Despite a teammate falling during the action, her internal drive to win a championship here remained a powerful and completely undeniable force of nature. Ready to stay, she insisted success required authenticity, reminding the coach her reputation was established long before their recent professional paths ever crossed. Scouted since her youth, her legendary shooting range and aggressive pace should not surprise anyone leading the current Indiana squad or the front office. This was her essence, and she rejected any attempt to restrain or modify the competitive fire that defined her whole career and public image. She welcomed guidance but refused confinement, suggesting doubters witness the massive cultural phenomenon she has already created across the entire sports world. Every expert breakdown confirmed the truth. A legendary figure was ascending to the top of basketball, as seen through recent media highlight reels. The public didn't want her style censored or slowed down. They arrived to witness the high-speed energy she naturally provided during every play. Leadership must release the reins and allow the world to behold rare, pure athletic brilliance in its most potent and unedited form. Her impact was measured by massive crowds waiting for hours just to see her play during a single professional basketball game. Playing with total instinct transformed her squad into an unstoppable force that no opposing defense could ever hope to properly contain or solve. She acknowledged that mistakes were the tax of genius, even for the greatest basketball icons who occasionally stumble while chasing ultimate glory. Removing the ball from a game-changer was foolish. She urged her coach to stop the control and start placing trust in her abilities. By letting her lead, the coach wasn't just freeing one athlete, they were effectively unlocking the full potential of the entire roster. Empowering her would ignite the team, and she promised to deliver results every single time she was granted the freedom to play her way. She was the ultimate threat, the player who forced every opponent to plan specifically for her and delivered when the game was on the line. That history of clutch performances was a reason to never restrain her, but rather to trust her instincts without any hesitation or fear. Authenticity was her only path to winning, since her recent success was merely a quiet prologue to the massive storm she intended to unleash. This was the blunt message for Indiana management, explaining exactly what the star should communicate to her leadership regarding her vital future role. She wielded unprecedented leverage, possessing more institutional power than any female athlete in the entire history of the Professional Basketball League. It was time to flex that authority, for the spectator's singular goal was to witness her signature, high-octane brand of hoops performed without any restrictions. If the coaching staff failed to align with her vision, it was time for them to be replaced by others immediately. Before concluding, viewers were urged to like, subscribe, and share their opinions to keep this intense sports discussion alive in comments. She stays engaged with the fans. Peace.